gobbledygook.
You were gonna let me start this show with a fucking sticker on it? It's brand new.
I didn't even know that. I thought you just kept it there.
You're supposed to coach up the whites.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, on behalf of your Denver-based podcast crew, we appreciate you joining us for the friendly vibes.
Coming to you live from TSS, it's Top Shelf Studios. Cheers to coffee. And cheers to what the future holds, because we're here just to laugh about it and share a hang. I'm joined by one of my favorite people. I've only spent time with him once, but boy, was it one night I will never forget. He's part of the High Altitude Comedy Trio, and he is the founder, proprietor, and the man getting the first festival across the line for High Mountain Comedy Fest? Trailhead Fest. It is the newest. It is the greatest. He is Joe Buck. Thank you for being here, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You got a lot of fucking irons in the fire, as it were.
Yeah. That's just kind of how life is for me. Feel like if I'm inspired to do something, I do it until I'm not inspired anymore, in which case I'd handed it off to someone who wants to continue to do it. I've been super fortunate to be able to do this. I've got sponsors that are actually reaching out right now.
I was going to reach out to my uncle. Like a father figure to me, founded a Colorado business with my mom called EarthRoamer, and I was tempted to reach out to them and be like, yo, you gotta just like, because I had been I spoke at his funeral, and it was tough for me, and I had been like avoiding processing these emotions of going back up to their factory,
right?
And I recently did it. It's like, yeah, I should ask them to sponsor this festival, because they're like in line, like their values are directly in line with what you're doing with this thing of like, get out in the bush and bring laughter out in the bush.
That's insane, because like I've seen EarthRoamers like all over Summit County, and I'm like, these things are ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I grew up. That's my mom and my like a father figure started that company. So I was like a kiddo in those things, testing out the beds and going around. I have no money from it. Obviously, I work 2 jobs in this, so it's not like I'm a Nepo baby. I have no connection to the company, but it's like, I wouldn't trade the lessons I got or the experience of life of living for the other path, because the high mountain life is so pure and awesome. And city folks that don't get it, I was trying to have this argument with my stepdad, like, do you think you can get across to someone that's always just been behind a computer in a city, like what it is?
It's really hard, like, truthfully. Everywhere that I've lived, like, I grew up in the city, like, born and raised in Miami.
Wow.
And I went from Miami to Orlando to Alaska.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved to Alaska?
I think I just turned 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that like a getaway from home move?
It was a getaway from an ex move.
Okay. That's about as far as you can go.
Without a passport, absolutely. At the time I did not have a passport. I quit my job, moved out of my apartment. Anything I had worth any value, I sold. Everything else I put in my car, and I drove it to my mom's house back in Miami. And they're like, what's your plan? And I was like, I wish I could tell you. One of my sisters came to me and she was like, where do you want to go? And I was like, I'm going to Alaska. And she was like, okay, like I'll pay for your flight. So she bought my ticket. I showed up in Alaska, didn't know anybody, didn't know anywhere to go, didn't have anything, didn't have anyone.
Wow.
My other sister called me and she was like, hey, I just sent you some money, go get a hotel room. Next day.
And you're 24 years old.
Mm-hmm. Next
and
day,
you're down bad emotionally because you're processing it. So like, I'm just trying to, I really like to put the audience and myself in the perspective of you experiencing this, because that is crazy, man.
So for a little context, I was with this gal in high school.
Okay.
Way out of my league.
Come on now. Yeah. You like to swing above your...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough.
Way out of my league. But we were not good for each other.
Okay.
But again, at the time I was dealing with like a lot of weird personal stuff. So I was like, whatever it takes to make this work is what I have to do. And then,
At the time, this is like the most important relationship in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's one of those things where like people try to force relationships to work because they think it's going to somehow bring them additional meaning and value.
Ooh, go off, King.
So
we're only 5 minutes in, Joe. Usually like to save the gems for later.
So I like tried to force a relationship to work. It didn't work. So I had a little bit of a break. I got a septum ring, shaved my head, moved to Alaska.
Got it. Doing the midlife stuff early.
Yeah. Knock it out early.
Front load it.
You know, leaves a lot more room for exploration.
The
Corvette. I'm not built for a Corvette.
Bro, I like to imagine myself if money wasn't an option, I like to imagine myself in a Lotus, and then I think, oh, I don't fit in a Lotus.
No, there would have to be a horrible, horrible accident for you to fit into a Lotus.
Shaq's Lotus would have to really need a new buyer.
Yeah, he's the only one with like a V12 engine and a 4-door Lotus. Like, the thing looks insane.
I mean, I bought at the top of the used market when I had to get a car back in 21, a truck. And it wasn't because I'm a truck guy or use a truck for truck things. It's because like I don't fit in any other consumer vehicles. And even the truck, it's like I probably need a custom seat. It's just stupid.
Yeah, that's insane.
They should just call me. Just call me.
Yeah, come on, guys. Well, I mean, EarthRoamer, you get the first EarthRoamer Lotus.
Ooh, that's true. Dude, that would be the crossover.
Think about it, you know? It'd be like those people that
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but no one really watches this show, so I'm gonna. There's been some like rumblings that there might be a potential cross. Like everyone back in the day always talk like EarthRoamer would be so like. Could you ever soup one of these up like a race car? Like there was one time we brought it to a NASCAR track and drove it around. It's like. But no one's really like gone full bore of like, let's take this rig and let's just put a Corvette engine, or like, let's work with Lamborghini or the Mercedes guys.
Like
design AMG. Like make an AMG EarthRoamer. Like, wouldn't that be neat to see? What the fuck would that be like?
I can't imagine. Like the miles per gallon would probably be 2.
I think top speed going down a hill on Highway 50 in Utah, Uncle Bill, he wanted to like see how fast he could get the rig before it felt unsafe. I think he went a few miles an hour over the unsafe point, but like 95 miles an hour in like a 25,000 pound vehicle is very scary.
I believe it. Yeah, I go very fast.
Are you a fast driver?
Yeah. Downside of growing up in a city, I do not have patience for slow drivers and people that camp in the left lane.
Okay.
If you want to see me at my worst, ride in a vehicle with me. I'm not dangerous.
You're effective.
Yes.
Yeah. I tell my wife the same thing.
Yeah. Like I was talking to someone about this what's today? Saturday? Thursday night. I was like, I feel like not enough people on I-25 get attacked with hammers.
My dad, okay. You might like this a lot. My dad has a solution, very dad-like, solution to this. He says, here's what we should do. The government should issue every driver, when you register your vehicle, a paintball gun and 3 colored paintballs for the year that match the colored whatever thing for the year. Because they do that with the plates, right? Get a new sticker. It's orange this year. Pop it on. My car's good for another year. Okay, now I get a paintball gun and I get 3 paintballs that I am able to use throughout the course of the year. If I get 3 paintballs on my car, I have to take a class or lose my license for 6 months. Or 3 months or something. There's some mode of I have to learn how to drive if I get 3 paintballs within a year.
Absolutely.
So there's been some conversation. Should it be should you only get 2 in a clip for a year?
No.
Should I be able to waste my friend? Because if I have 3, I can make you go take a class as a joke. That's the downside. But wouldn't that be a great system?
Absolutely. But even more
Make it better for me.
Well, I'm thinking in terms of like, because my brain immediately went to, what if my friend is an asshole and just shoots my car 3 times? 1, they have now lost the ability to actually apply this to someone who needs it. And 2, that's kind of really funny. And like, it's an easy way to get out of work. Like, sorry guys, I got 3 paintballs. Like,
right. It's like jury duty.
Yeah. Jury duty. I don't know what that's like.
What is that?
Yeah. Yeah, every single time.
The selectors see you walk in and they say, "Go ahead and turn around, sir."
They're like, sorry, sir.
We're looking for peers. You'll find none.
I wear the shortest shorts, show off all my tattoos. Sometimes
my mom taught me a trick. She's like, if you don't want to be on a jury, just like during the selection process, at some juncture or another, you just kind of allude to like, well, he's here for a reason, and then they'll release you.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible joke and not how you should. If you get the chance to be a juror in this country, go be a juror and try to prevent bad things from. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like my mom was a juror on a very famous case.
Whoa. Like one of those cases that last weeks.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
I'm thinking of it was a fashion designer who got killed in Miami by. It was believed to be like boyfriend or person that he hooked up with or
what year?
Versace.
Oh.
And my mom was one of the jurors on that case.
What?
Mm-hmm.
On the Gianni Versace case?
Mm-hmm.
Murdered July 15, 1997?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. Tell me about that. Did your mom like...
She couldn't talk about it.
She didn't tell you about it after it?
No. She had to stay... They have to stay like away from the public. If they're allowed to make phone calls, all of the phone calls have to be monitored to make sure you're not releasing sensitive information.
It's because it's a public trial too. Is that part of why they have to do extra stipulations on things like that? Or?
It's all the high profile cases.
Gotcha.
You are sequestered from the general public. So like they bring you food to your rooms majority of the time.
This is the NBA bubble.
Yeah, basically. But even more so, sometimes they go a step further and you're not allowed to interact with the other jurors outside of the courtroom.
Right.
Like when you're deliberating in the courtroom, outside of that,
you can't talk. That is, whew. I mean, that's trying to get good justice, I guess. Maybe.
I guess. I don't know. It depends. Because like there's always ways to like sway people, and there's always there's always ways to bribe people, and sometimes like I've heard of cases where like the cops are being paid by the defendant to be like, hey, go talk to this certain juror. Or they're like, hey, I've got a buddy, make sure he gets pulled for jury duty. I gave him like all the things to say. So there's always ways.
Listen, when Jeff Epstein, just the financier, wins the Oklahoma lottery because of, some loose yarn that I can throw between 3 or 4 different things, it's like, oh yeah, I'll believe whatever, bro. Mm-hmm. The schizophrenics 10 years ago were right on the internet. So I'm hell if I know anything about anything anymore.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, it's kind of funny. I saw that meme is like early this morning is like fireworks going off and a man ripping off his shirt and being excited. And it's like, when's conspiracy theorists to write about one conspiracy. And it's just like, oh yeah, like that's all you need. You just need the one victory. Everything else is headcanon, and you're like, well, if I was right about one thing, I'm right about everything.
Man, interesting. I don't know if I go that direction personally because I'm like chronically curious, and I think that makes me a little bit broken. And in that sense, I don't know if I'm satiated. Like my buddy told me about this thing I didn't even know. What Project Azorian? Do you know about this?
Mm-mm.
Do you know who Howard Hughes is?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was like the richest guy. He was like the Elon Musk of the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. Let's just call him that. Okay. Richest man in the world, public face. Okay. Project Azorian, I did not know about this. We found a Soviet sub that had sank 1,500 miles northwest off of Hawaii. Mm-hmm. We identified it. We didn't know how to get to it. So the forward-facing story in the late 60s and 70s that the public is told is that Howard Hughes is building the ship, the Hughes Glomar Explorer. Mm-hmm. This ship is going to go around the ocean floor and look for manganese nodules for mining purposes, things like this. Okay. Not a single member of the construction of the ship, the crew of the ship, or him was involved in any step of it. It was a CIA operation where they developed this ship, took it, used a claw to try to bring up the submarine. Mm-hmm. The submarine broke while they brought it up. They recovered Soviet soldiers on the submarine. And the only reason we know about this is because at that point in time, one of the sailors or CIA people had an ethical qualm come in. They had a part of God come into themselves and say, we got to do something right with these bodies we found.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're in the cold, like, we got to do the right thing here. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we filmed the video of giving them a burial at sea. And then we sent that to the Soviets in the 90s. And then we declassified. And that's the only reason we know. Mm-hmm. It would have been $3.5 billion of today's money. Mm-hmm. Public money funneled through government things. Mm-hmm. And us, we're told, we would be like, oh man, how cool is it that Howard Hughes is going around like, and so then I extrapolate that to like Starlink or like any of the modern things. And I'm like, bro, I'm an ant. If I think I'm going to have influence over this or no, I'm not, maybe my kids might, the stories that I think are true are likely not. And that's maybe okay. Should I listen less? I don't know. It's a weird time to be a person. And you're older and wiser than I.
I never recommend listening less unless it is for the sake of your mental health.
Okay.
Like, I believe in tempering things because, I'm also like an eternally curious person.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is if you're constantly just taking in information, at a certain point, it's overload. You're not comprehending, and it just becomes wasted. It's just background noise, right? But if there's a certain thing that interests me, I have to take the time to sit down and study it and make sure that I understand what this particular thing is about before I can proceed with anything else with it.
Okay.
But then at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I need to learn more. And then it's like, certain things, I'll learn too much and I just get angry.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, and then I start to feel that, like, well, what's the point of anything?
Right.
But if I do that, then the apathy takes over. And once the apathy takes over, then it's like, what's the point of anything? Well, what's the point of caring about other people? What's the point of having a dog? What's the point of anything? Right.
I had it this morning, Joe. I was like, why the fuck am I doing comedy, believing that I'm worth a shit, doing this show? Like, I should quit. I had this exact thing this morning. Internal battle.
Yeah. But the important thing is to not let that win. Because, like, it doesn't matter the futility in the long run. But right now, much like, at the beginning of this, when I was saying, like, if I feel inspired to do something, then I have to take it as far as I can. So if I feel inspired to do comedy, there's days I wake up and I'm just like, fuck, I got a show tonight. I got a show tomorrow. I got a show next week. And I'm just like, I don't have it in me. Like, maybe I'll just host. Maybe I'll just produce a show and I won't do it. And then I'm just like, if people believe in me and people are buying tickets to support me, who am I not to believe in myself? Like, who am I not to put my best foot forward?
Yes.
And, there's times where, like, my social battery is on empty. I still gotta fake it. I still gotta smile. I still gotta, like, shake hands and thank people for being there. And, like, once I'm in my car, I can ride in silence home. I can go home and sit in a dark room with my dog. I can just stare out the window. I can do all those things. But at the time where I have to show up, not only for myself, but for other people, that's what I have to do.
That's how you find the, like, inspiration to pull back from the apathy is remembering that other people would pull you back from that apathy.
Okay. Absolutely. It's like, I know that I have people in my life who care, but at the same time, like, I don't always allow those people to see the apathy or to see that side of it because I don't want people to worry about me. And I think it's a bit of a me thing and also, like, a bit of like the people around me where they're used to seeing me in a certain way. So oftentimes to see a person in a more susceptible or vulnerable place can change everything, So I don't like to call it a charade or a facade, but, if there's a person who's used to seeing a certain face, that's what you get,
Interesting. Is that tiring? Like extra? So like, is a multiplicity factor of burning that, or does it reverb?
Honestly, I think when you only allow people to see a certain side of you, then you compartmentalize when you interact with that person.
All right. Well, speaking of compartmentalization, if you want to be part of the person that we're going to be for the next little bit, it's eating chicken wings. And
yes,
the way we make that possible is you, our supporters. We keep this show ad-free 100% so that people can come on. I had a guest come on to talk about the genocide happening in the West Bank 6 months before we were publicly allowed to call it a genocide. And I'm happy to have a space where that's possible. The only reason that that's possible is because we're ad free, and you guys make that possible at patreon.com/Toggle. Only $2 a month. That's a cheap rack of beer over the course of a year. Helps feed amazing guests like Joe. So if you want to join us, we'll be over there smacking on some chicken wings. Have you listened to radio before in your life?
Like public radio?
The AMs and the FMs.
Yeah.
I'm going to kick us to break with our signature station identification. You're listening to 91.1. Oh shit, was that another plane? We'll be right back. We're back. We're live. It's the After Hours show, and Joe's belly is full of chicken.
It is.
It's time for a wing review. But first, if you want to hear the eating, this one is an extra long, very full serving of eating. Head over to patreon.com/intolerable. You're just helping us support the show and put more great smoked meat into the mouths of future guests.
Goddamn right.
All right, it's time. The moment of truth, the wing review. What do we think, Joe? What do you give those wings? The conversation is almost too good. I held him off from the wings.
How do you do it? Like,
however you want to do it. We do 10-point scale is the classic.
Right, 10-point scale. I would say a solid 9. Those were fire. Like,
I'm very generous of you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was like the conversation was really good, but once I started eating the wings, I was like, I'm just going to talk with food in my mouth because this is fantastic.
You got to do it sometimes.
Hey, man, the real ones won't care.
I can pull something closer.
Nah, you're good. I like having to reach over.
You like the reach?
Absolutely, I do.
I like the struggle. I did a very poor job in the first half here of a narrative arc. You were telling me about how you went from 2 years in college in Miami, 2 years in Iowa, back to Miami. Were there, you were 24, you were getting out of a bad relationship, and you said, I'm going to Alaska.
That was my dad.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. Now I'm conflating people. My God.
You good.
Really check out that eating. You'll understand why.
Born and raised in Miami, moved to Orlando for college.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So you go to Alaska, you get the plane ticket bought, you get a hotel room from your sister. You don't have a hope of a job or a plan or any path.
Nope.
But you are free from the thing that's been burdening you, and you're trying to carve out Joe in Alaska.
Yeah.
What the hell happens?
I get a job the next day.
Things go. There we go.
Yeah. So I'd applied for a job to work at this fishing lodge, and they wanted someone who's classically trained.
Pianist, of course.
Yes. I did not get that job.
Classically trained in what?
French cuisine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did not get that job.
Did you fail Mirepoix or whatever?
Mirepoix. I was not qualified for it. I was not classically trained.
You were more of a what's the new age?
Yeah.
I'm a golden era chef.
I feel as though like I was trained classically, which is being yelled at by a little Mexican man in a kitchen. That's how I learned how to cook, like in restaurants.
The American method.
Yeah. Like it's just getting yelled at. Like you figure out how to do shit pretty quickly when you run the risk of getting burned or cut.
Ooh.
So, I was like, I'm going to Alaska. I don't know how I'm going to get there, what I'm going to do.
But you had experience in the kitchen, so you knew there were kitchens in Alaska. That's reasonable to me.
Yeah, so I got there, got a hotel room, across the street from my hotel room.
Wait, can I ask a question? Did you cry that night in the hotel room?
No. I was too tired.
Oh, okay. I would have been a mess.
From Fort Lauderdale to Anchorage, including layovers, was 15 and a half hours.
Just happy to get into bed.
Yeah. I'd only slept 20 minutes the night before. So I left for the airport at 4:00 in the morning. I laid down, but I was so anxious and so nervous because I'd never flown as an adult. So I was super nervous, tried to go to bed, but I couldn't.
Hang on. Does that mean your parents just tossed you around the living room, or what are we talking about?
We drove everywhere. Like, we did road trips everywhere. Like,
no, I mean, you've flown. I was flying as a baby. It's you being tossed from parent to parent.
So, funny story. My dad taught us how to swim by taking us up on the roof of our house and just throwing us off into the pool.
Why? What did the height matter?
I think at that point,
did it add an effect?
It was style points, man.
Okay, that's fair. He's just running down cool laps. Did he do that from the top? Because I know my dad told me that with babies, when they're freshly born, you can bend the foot up all the way this way and make, because there's so much cartilage, and you can just bend it and press it real quick to here. But he didn't do it with me. I'm the firstbborn. He did it on my sister.
Oh, wow.
So I'm wondering, did your dad hey, this year it's a chair. I'm standing on a chair, and then now it's the third kid I'm on top of the grill.
Nah, he was straight to the roof.
Straight to the roof.
Yeah, he would just huck us off the roof into the pool.
Then the method worked.
Yeah, we all learned how to swim. We were all great swimmers. But
yeah, that is so sick.
Yeah, but that's like the closest to flying we did. And then, like I said, we did martial arts. So we flew to the Bahamas to do like some competitions. But outside of that,
gotcha. Okay, so that's what you mean by flying.
Yeah. Never need to fly anywhere else. We just drove.
Sorry for my hacking, throwing the kid around the living room. No, I was trying to find something there.
No, but like,
so you were terrified to fly then. It's a long trip to be doing for your first one.
Yeah. So I remember, like I said, I went to sleep at 3:30, woke up at 3:50. Loaded up the car. My mom cried because she did not want me to go. She was like, "You should not be going." Get to the airport, go through TSA, all that shit, and
randomly searched.
Yes, I was very nervous. Luckily, I didn't have anything because, but I remember I sit down and I'm in first class. It's the only way I'll fly.
First class.
Oh yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah. Wow. Hey man, what can I say? I'm not built for coach.
Dude, my legs are so long, and I'm flying coach today. It's brutal.
See, but you got long legs. Like your length, I'm width.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still a problem.
Yeah, it's like, so I like sit down, and the stewardess is like, "Can I grab anything to drink?" And I was like, "You got any beer?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Cool, what do you have?" And she's like, "Oh, I got a Sam Adams Oktoberfest." And I was like, "Oh, perfect. I'll take one of those." And I remember she came back with it. And I was like, "Can I ask you something?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Will you cut me off?" And she was like, "As long as you don't piss yourself or throw up, I'll keep serving you." I crushed a 6-pack by the time we had even been taxied onto the runway.
Nice.
I remember we took off, we ascended.
You're like,
whee! Yeah, dude. Well, it's like, when you're in the seat and you're like, the G-force is like pushing you back, you're like, oh, fuck. And I remember we got up, we got to elevation, and I was watching the sunrise over Fort Lauderdale. And my immediate thought was, there is a chance that I will never see the sunrise again.
Ooh.
And
then you got sad drunk.
Yes, I kept drinking until eventually I fell asleep. I woke up as we were landing in Atlanta because I was flying Delta. So any flights out of the South, you have to fly into Atlanta because that's where Delta's hub is.
So and they make the rules.
Yeah, goddamn right they do. So I get off the plane.
Delta and Coca-Cola run this city, goddammit.
Yeah, dude, it's an interesting place. But I remember, I get off the plane, I'm very clearly drunk and very sleepy, and I had a 2-hour layover, and I had to go from one end of the airport to the other. So I'm drunkenly stumbling through the airport. I sit down, I eat breakfast, I get to my gate and I'm like, I have to piss so bad. So they had just started boarding. So I'm like taking a piss and I come out. So there's like the Delta priority and then everybody else. And I remember I'm like sitting there and I'm standing on the Delta priority side. And let me go back a step. As I'm waiting for the plane and I realize I have to piss, I'm in like the Delta priority line, so first class. And this lady, I have headphones on, and this lady's like, sir. And like, I got headphones on, I don't hear her. And someone taps me on the shoulder and like points at her. So I like pause my music and I look over and she goes, yeah, sir, the coach line starts back there. And I was like, thank you for letting me know, but I'm flying first class. And I turned, like, put my headphones back on. And I was like, I don't know what her intent was with telling me that. But also, like, they hadn't even started boarding. Yeah. So you can just stand wherever the fuck you want.
Sure.
So then I'm like, oh my God, I got to piss so bad. Go to the bathroom, come back. And they've already started boarding. First class babies, military.
Yep.
You know, first class babies in the military are all boarded. So I'm like,
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Wow.
We've got warm breast milk for you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'm like in the Delta priority line, they're boarding coach now, and the guy scanning the tickets like looks up at me and he looks down and he looks up again and he stops the entire line. And he's like, sir, he's like calling me over, and I was like, no, help these people. And he's like, no, sir, I will not move this line until you come over. So I walk over and he was like, sir, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Like, genuinely, I'm so sorry that I made you wait. And I'm like, hey man, like, I was late. I'm so sorry. He was like, no, sir. That was my mistake. I apologize. And he's so heartfelt with this. And he's, you know, this guy had to be like in his 50s.
Give me a description on this guy. White guy, black guy?
Older white guy.
Okay.
Could have been a flight attendant. No. Okay. Like, older, just like, could have been like.
Didn't know if we were getting hit with gay kindness.
No. Okay. He looked like he could have been like a preacher.
Okay.
But like very like clean shaven, older guy.
But he felt bad about he had seen the interaction. What happened?
No, it was because I was flying first class.
Oh.
So no matter where they are in the boarding process,
they say, fuck these people.
Yes.
Okay.
Coach
I get it.
Has to fucking wait.
But because of this previous situation.
So, coming full circle, the person that he stopped was the lady.
Oh, yes.
So she was even more upset because they stopped her from boarding the plane.
And he's being so nice to you.
He's so apologetic.
Oh.
And then eventually they're like, okay, you all can start coming again. And she's like, where's my apology? And he was like, didn't even acknowledge it. He just goes, have a good day. And then I sit in first class and she has to walk by me. But
isn't she behind you on the boarding, or did you get to there before she's like cued? Because I'm thinking this lady's like behind you, just like vigorously being upset, like as you're waiting to board the plane on the jet bridge.
Yeah, she was. But then again, you know, it's like some planes you board from the center, some planes you board from the front.
Sure.
So because we boarded from the front, I'm already sitting down in first class. Yeah. So now she has to walk past me to go to her shitty seats where she's going to fight some hungover 20-something-year-old for arm space, and I have a window seat because I only take window seats. So
I pegged you for an hour, man.
No,
had you misplaced?
No,
I won't box you again.
So I'm nice and comfortable, and like, you know, the stewardess brings me a cup of champagne and a bottle of water, and you know they bring me. You know, like first class, you know, you get a meal, you get a TV, you get headphones, eye covers. They gave me a toothbrush. They like give you all these amenities you don't need, but just like justify the price. So this lady, people are like putting their shit up in the overhead bins. So now she's standing here, like mean mugging me while she's watching me sip champagne and drink bottled water and like eating snacks. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're mad. And a less petty version of me would feel bad, but also fuck you.
Did you say anything?
Oh, no.
Oh, dude. No.
I sat there with a smile on my face.
What do you mean a less petty? That's the less petty version of you that did not say shit.
Oh, dude.
Whew. Good on you. I would have, thought of something slick.
I was just like, whatever.
Good on you for...
Well, again, I was also still very sleepy and also like very drunk. So I was like,
combination maybe helped. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I just want to go back to sleep. And eventually plane boards, takes off. I fall asleep somewhere over Louisiana, wake up over Colorado, and they're like, hey, if you look outside, you can see the snow on the mountains. So you fly over the ski resorts. We end up landing in SeaTac, and never been to SeaTac, never flown as an adult. The plane that we were on was going international after. So it goes from Atlanta to Seattle to, like, let's say...
Tokyo.
Yeah. So my seat, there was no one directly in front of me. And my seat extended fully out into a bed. And it had, like, a massager. So they gave me, like, eye cover, toothbrush, toothpaste, all that stuff.
So good.
And then I remember I fell asleep, like I said, over Louisiana. I'd already ordered my breakfast. So I wake up over Colorado, and the flight attendant is an older guy, and he's like, oh my God, sir, we thought we were going to have to, like, emergency land the plane. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, well, you ordered your breakfast, and then I came back to ask if you wanted something to drink, and you weren't moving. And he was like, I tapped you on the shoulder. He was like, I said your name repeatedly. He was like, I even snapped my fingers next to your ears. He was like, I had to put my finger under your nose to see if you were still breathing. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, man. I was just really tired. And he's like, well, do you still want your breakfast? And I was like, please. And he was like, well, actually, we had someone who didn't want their breakfast. Do you want the second one too? And I was like, bro,
run it.
Yeah. So I wake up. I don't know if I was, or I shouldn't say if I was snoring, how loud I was snoring.
Oh,
I'm sure I was. But now I'm in first class drinking beers and, like, eating two people's breakfasts. And I know the lady in coach is just fucking fuming. And
it's so good.
I remember we land in SeaTac, and again, because the plane goes international, they land in the international section of the airport. And I remember I get off the plane. So it's all Chinese. It's funny enough. I get off the plane, and
I meant like the signs, not the people. Let me be more clear. I was trying upon revision, that comment was bad.
Well, it's like, you know, like I get off the plane, and I was like, this is a very ethnic airport. Like, we're in Seattle. Well, it's like SeaTac, so Seattle Tacoma.
And that was your first time being there?
Yeah, first time ever, ever in the Pacific Northwest. Right. And it's like pho restaurant, ramen restaurant, sushi, Korean barbecue. And I was like, very progressive of these people to only have Asian restaurants in this airport. And I was like, also, this is the smallest airport I've ever been into, which is the third airport I'd ever been into. Right. And I'm like, I'm leaving out of gate B13, and this says, like, I think it was like Y6. So I'm like, and I'm walking around, I was like, I don't see any B's anywhere. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get some sushi. So I'm like on the phone with my family, letting them know I made it safely, and like eating sushi. And then I'm like, let me just ask someone. So I go over to the currency exchange. I was like, excuse me, do you know where gate B13 is? And the girl's like, you're in the wrong section of the airport. And I was like, there are sections here? So she was like, oh my fucking God. It's like audibly just said, oh my fucking God. Yeah. Like, this poor man. And she's like, you need to go down the stairs, get on the train, take the train to here. And I was like, there's a fucking train here? And like, I feel so stupid. And I'm like very embarrassed, because I'm like, you know, a man in my 20s asking this poor girl working a currency exchange stand how to get to my flight. She doesn't give a shit who I am. Yeah. So she eventually like helps me, and she's like, this is as far as I can take you. You got to figure it out yourself. So I like get there, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going to be late. And I get there, and the lady sitting next to me on the flight was the nicest old lady. She looked just like Judi Dench, and she was so sweet. And then
it was Judi.
Dude, I wish. Like, you talk about joining the Mile High Club. I would fuck the shit out of Judi Dench, even now. But either way, landed in Anchorage. And at that point, the sun was up for 24 hours. So got to the airport, walked out, and I was like...
Had you read about that beforehand? Were you ready for that?
I'd known about it. My cousin was stationed in Alaska for a bit when he was in the Army. So, I remember I was like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? Like, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I talk to? And that was when my other sister called me and she was like, hey, I just sent you $300 to go get a hotel room. Next day, I get a call from the company that I'd applied for, and they're like, hey, you're not qualified for this other job, but we do have this other resort where we need cooks. And they're like, I was like, all right, cool, I'll take it. And they're like, well, how soon can you get to Alaska? And I was like,
right now.
Funny story, I got here last night. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm staying at the Omni Hotel. And they were like, so we own that hotel. And I was like, oh, fucking sweet. And they're like, all right, cool. We're going to be doing orientation and stuff in 2 days. Is that okay with you? And I was like, yeah. They're like, all right, cool. Let the front desk know that like you're an employee, and they'll give you the employee rate. And like I said, there was a brewery across the street. It was Glacier Brewing. So I walk in and they're like, hey, it's, the guy was like, are you here for a growler night? And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's Thursday, so it's growler night. So any growler is $10. So I was like, I don't know what a growler is. And so he picks up, it's like one of those old timey, it's a 64-ounce jug. It looks like one of those old timey saloon ones that they like a spittoon.
Oh yeah.
So he fills it up, and at the time I was only drinking porters and stouts because I wanted to be different.
Just to be clear, you don't get this big and this white not knowing what a growler is in Colorado.
That's true.
I'll give you that.
I feel like
the audience might not.
If your beard went out instead of like down.
I mean, it was for a minute. I cut it recently, but yeah.
Yeah.
Real mountain manny.
Yeah, you look like you made moonshine.
Yeah. Sunflare was my name.
Sunflare?
That's my Sunflare. Yeah. That's my moonshiner name.
Oh, hell yeah. I like that for
There's
you.
a whole lot of lore behind that, but keep going.
But I got pizza and a growler of their porter, and I went back to my room. I drank the whole growler, ate the whole pizza, and then all of the sleep that I had not gotten plus all of the beer hit me at once. I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Sun is up, and I'm like, oh shit, it's got to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was not. Very, very scary the first time.
Yep.
Eventually, like, I go to orientation, get the job. I had already been offered. So I ended up working at a resort my first year. And when I got there, I was like, I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to meet all these strangers. No exaggeration. The first 15 people that I met were all from Orlando. And all of them lived within like 5 miles of me.
Oh my gosh.
And like, I cannot exaggerate that. Like, one of the guys.
So no culture shift needed.
No, none. Everyone else was from like other places, but the people I ended up sitting on the bus with to go from the hotel up to the resort. The girl sitting next to me, I'm like, oh, where are you from? She's like, oh, upstate New York, but I just moved here from Orlando. And I was like, weird. The girl in front of her, oh yeah, I was in the hospitality program at UCF. And I was like, weird. Girl next to her, oh yeah, I used to work at this certain restaurant over in Daytona Beach, but like I live in Orlando now. Just everyone was like from Orlando.
So trippy.
It was scary, where I was like, I moved as far away as I could without a passport, and everyone that I meet lived within 5 miles of me.
Wow.
And yeah, they ended up becoming like the core group of like friends that I had. And then I remember like my first week there, I was like, I can't go back. I can't go back to the life I had before. I can't go back to this, try to fix this, relationship. And I'm in like, at the time my roommates were a couple and all they did was fight. And I always felt like I was playing referee. So I was like, I can't go back to this. So I remember one night, one of my roommates called me and she was like, when are you coming back? And I was like, why? She was like, well, so-and-so is nicer to me when you're around. And like, I miss hanging out and like, I miss having you around. And like, I just want you to come back. And I was like, I'm not coming back. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. So I remember she cried and then I hung up the phone and I moved to Vail after that at the end of the summer.
Okay.
All the ski resorts from Colorado, well, from like the lower 48 come to Alaska and recruit. And then at the end of winter, all the other resorts like Alaska and like Seattle, all the other resorts come here and recruit. So if you want, you could just work seasonal jobs forever. So I was originally supposed to go to Aspen. They wanted too much money. I thought I was too good for copper. So I ended up going to Vail. I hated Vail. I hated working for Vail. I hated living in Vail. I hated all of it. So at the end of the summer, I was supposed to move to Yellowstone.
And, the TV show?
Yeah. I was going to be the only black rancher. But my friends were like, hey, we're going back to Alaska. Like, you're coming.
Nice.
So I ended up moving back. Then I quit the resort. Like,
how old are we now at this point?
I was 25.
Okay. So
yeah. I quit the resort like a month in, and I worked at the only bar in town.
In Alaska?
In the small... the town we lived in, a small town called Healy.
Healy, yeah?
Yeah, so...
Pretty familiar with Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been there twice.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. We led an expedition of 17 roamers from Bellingham, Washington with the Inward Passage, and just all around Alaska for...
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Healy is smack dab in the middle. So, Anchorage is 4.5 hours southwest, and Fairbanks is 3.5 hours northeast. So you're like smack dab in the middle of the George Parks Highway.
Got it.
Or the Alaskan Highway. But where the town is located, where the highway is, if you walk west from any point, you end up in Denali National Park.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that right by Denali? Yeah.
Yeah. So on a good day,
you can see you
can see Mount Denali.
So cool, dude.
Yeah. So like, you see Into the Wild?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So so when the river,
I've read the book,
the river that he's hiking along, that's Savage River.
Yep. Okay.
And when he goes down, the lake that he's on, that's Otto Lake.
Yep.
And then the town that he ends up in, that is Healy.
Yeah. Okay.
And the buses that he dies in, those are my buddy's buses.
Those buses used to be the buses that they ran in and out of the park. To bring people to
So
they still run buses. That's
you could take the buses
all through Denali.
You can. So the last free point in the national park by bus is Savage River.
Okay.
Past that point, you have to like pay
for the national park entry. But then there's buses that from the National Park Service all the way through.
Yeah. But yeah, those buses belong to my buddies. They were their hunting buses. Because like the elk and caribou and deer,
they all passed through there.
Yeah, the migration pattern took them through there. So they had the buses set up and they would sleep in there. So that dude died in my buddy's buses.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they originally had 3. I think there are 2 in the movie, or maybe 1.
I think there's just 1.
Yeah, so 1 ended up at 49 State Brewery in Healy. The other 2 were there. Someone got drunk and shot a bunch of holes in it.
That's the bus that he died in.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But eventually, this was like 5 years ago, they took both of the buses out.
They did?
Yeah, because people kept going out there.
Yeah, because vandalizing. Yeah.
Well, no, people kept going out there and getting stuck.
Oh.
And they had to call Backcountry Rescue to come get them out.
People don't realize how much of a pain in the ass they create when they don't know what they're doing and they go out in the wilderness.
Oh, dude, it would be every day because the town is so small. It's 800 people year round.
Tiny.
Yeah, very small. So like no hospital, no like.
I must have been there then.
Yeah, you literally drive. If you drive the Alaskan Highway, you go right through there. But either way, it's such a small town. Like there's no police force, there's no hospital, there's no nothing.
No services.
All services are volunteers.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the fire department, EMS, backcountry rescue.
Yep. They're people that are skilled.
Yeah, but they're all the same people.
Yep.
So every single time backcountry rescue, you get billed, 1, and 2, these dudes now have to leave their actual jobs to get into their gear, to get into a helicopter, to come fly to find you.
Yep.
And, if you don't have cell service, how the fuck are they going to find you? Or if you have a backcountry beacon, then it's like, okay, it's that much easier. But it was an everyday occurrence, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, where like some rich yuppie wanted to like fly out to Alaska to discover themselves.
Yep.
And it's like, just go to fucking therapy.
No, just build a rig and then learn the hard way.
Yeah, it's like, dude, literally anything else besides putting a financial strain on a remote community because you want to find yourself. And it's like it's one of those things.
Also, aren't you rich? You should be able to finance this all the way through to the right way, and not get fucked up. Yeah.
So it's like the whole thing is like when you're going out to the buses, there's a stream that you pass over early in the day.
Okay.
But because all of that water is glacier fed, by the time the day starts to get a bit warmer, that stream turns into an actual like raging river.
Mm-hmm.
And people have gotten caught in the river and they get washed out.
For sure.
And they never find the bodies or they find them, So if you are not prepared and you're crossing a stream, you're not prepared to cross over a raging river later on in the day. So then they're stuck out there.
Somebody's been outside.
Yeah. And like, you don't know how to start a fire. You don't have those supplies. You just thought it was going to be a nice day hike and you were going to go back to your Airbnb.
And now you're like as close as you can get to the most concentrated bear country on planet Earth.
I've been chased twice by grizzlies.
Grizzlies are the coolest things on Earth.
Yeah. They are terrifying up close. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Uh-huh.
In Kenai once, we took a little like aluminum boat out to like see the bears and fish for salmon. And so we're just at this one like riverhead with all these other boats that are, everyone's being quiet to just watch the bears. I'm like from here to, the back door to my like 10, 20 feet from bears swimming in the water, grabbing salmon out. It's incredible, dude. Terrifying.
Yeah.
If you're not like doing it as I'm witnessing nature thing, if you're out there with no resources, you're dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Period. Flat out. Full send. Stop.
Yeah. But it's also like people think, oh, it's just the bears. It's like, no, moose.
Dude, the moose is way, way worse. I'd rather get a bear than a moose.
Moose are super aggressive. Their eyesight is terrible. And they're fucking huge out there. Like people see like a moose here. That's
a good point. So a moose here is between, I think, like 1,500 and 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, the moose up there are larger. They're like a subspecies of moose. But like, so like the one that's at what's the zoo? Cheyenne Mountain. So the one at Cheyenne Mountain is actually from Alaska. And if you look at it compared to like the moose you see up in Breck or in Frisco or, anywhere up in the mountains, the ones here are smaller.
So just because I don't have a fact checker here to help us, Alaskan Yukon moose, that's what they're called. They're significantly larger than Colorado's Shira moose. So the Alaskan bull moose can average between 1,200 and 1,600 pounds and are 6 to 7 feet tall at the shoulder.
Yep.
Our moose here in Colorado are between 800 and 1,200 and roughly 6 feet tall. So you're looking at like, that's an extra 400 pounds of damage.
Yeah, you're talking like, we said 7 to 8 feet at the shoulder. Yeah, that's not including... So yeah,
that head.
Yeah, they're favorite part.
Pause.
But they're fucking massive,
huge,
and they go where they please. It's like front yard.
Elephants, man. You can tell those guys where to go.
Yeah, and then like during rutting season, they are like super aggressive, but even more so like elk or caribou. Like caribou, people think of reindeer and they think of what they see at a petting zoo. Actual caribou in the wild are massive. They're not as big as moose. They're maybe closer to like Colorado sized moose as far as like caribou in the wild. But the caribou you see in petting zoos that are called like reindeer, they are specifically bred to be smaller.
Right.
But
I mean, these caribou have to survive bears and Denali and the climate of that. Like they are, they have to be.
But even more so, caribou, they have felt on their horns.
That's right.
But during rutting season, all the felt comes off.
And the felt is sensory for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The females keep their horns year round.
Okay.
Because during the winter, the felt comes off and they use their horns to dig.
Oh.
But the males, once rutting season starts, they lose the felt and they use it to kill each other to decide who's going to breed and who's not.
Yep.
But even more so, their hooves are kind of split like a moose, but they have an interior thumb that is very sharp like a dog. So when they jump up to
rut up or whatever they call that.
Yeah, whatever they call it when horses do it.
Yeah.
They come down with that inside thumb and they will cut you open. Like they do it to each other all the time. So like they fight with their horns and with that inside, like it's almost like a fucking knife.
Yeah.
So it's called rearing up. That's what it is.
Rearing up. Yeah.
But yeah, like I've seen caribou go at it. Like.
So how many years were you up there total?
Total 1.5 years.
Okay. Wow.
So I went for my first winter, came here for the summer, went back, and I didn't have anything to do or anywhere to go. So I ended up.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I fucking had a sixth sense. I'm like, something's gonna go wrong.
I wonder how much it cut out.
Hopefully not. Keep going.
Yeah. So the 1.5 years is how long I stayed. 3 months, first time, second time. I ended up staying a little over a year.
Wow.
Then it was like very miserable, very cold. Winter is a frozen, desolate hellscape.
Is it depressing as hell?
Yeah, it is. Like for a solid month of no sunlight, it does a lot to you. And like, living in a place where it can reach -40, -50, like that's the actual temperature, not factoring in like the real feel. So the roads freeze over, your car won't start, you don't have hot water, like you don't have any of the amenities that you want. So it's like you can't go outside, you can't see your friends because all your friends are somewhere in St. Martin or in Miami or in Colorado skiing and snowboarding, and you can't open your fucking front door. So it's very miserable, and like I was getting very depressed. So I was also drinking a lot because I wasn't addressing the root cause of me being there, which was me running away from my feelings. So
coping with the drinking and the depression. I mean, just to get through. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. As a long lineage of Irish addicts speaking.
Yeah. So I decided to move back. I knew I wanted to come back to Colorado, but I knew I didn't want to go to Aspen or Vail. So I moved to Summit County, got a job at Copper, and said I was staying for one winter. 9 years later, still here.
About to have a founding of the first high mountain comedy festival, to my knowledge, of that area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 9 years and then now this? I mean...
Yeah, like...
Pretty cool. Pretty cool life arc you've had.
Yeah, it's been... So... When I was younger, I was already dealing with like the loss of my father, and then like my great uncle, who was like a surrogate father to me after my dad passed. He passed, so like all of the great men in my life had passed away. So
that left a void.
Oh,
of a great man in your life to look up to.
Yeah, absolutely. And like my godfather, like is a fantastic man, but he very much so had it in his head that I was going to become a preacher. And, I was in the youth choir, I went to like the black equivalent of like seminary school during the summer, all that kind of stuff when I wasn't with my family. and he really wanted me to become a preacher.
I was going to inject a terrible joke there.
What
is the black version of seminary school? Eminary school? All right, keep going. Keep moving. Just keep moving past it. I had to just go right past that.
We'll workshop
I'm supposed to swing and miss at least once an episode. I'm sorry for touching you.
No, you're fine. But after that, when I was 12.
What is it? Seminary school with just the drums? Is that better? Okay, keep going.
I was 12. And my oldest sister was like, hey, like, I'm a lesbian. And I remember one of the people at the church we were going to at the time said, that's so sad that you're going to go to hell. And I remember I looked her dead in the face and I was like, if you ever talk to my sister like that again, I'll lock the doors and burn this place to the ground with all of us in it. So I was asked not to come back to that church.
Yeah.
And then I had a lot of questions about religion and God and never got the answers that I wanted. So I decided, you know, based on my personality of being an all or nothing person, you know, and based on, again, like my understanding of religion and of the Bible, where it says, like, either be on fire for the Lord or be cold, because if you are lukewarm, I, the Lord your God, will spew you out of my mouth. So I was like, I'm not going to half step something like religion, because there are people who care about this and I'm not that person. So as opposed to just going with the flow and saying, oh, you're doing this? Cool. I guess I'll do it too. I'll just take a step back and free that space up for someone who wants it.
Okay. So did that turn you, did you go atheist?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I genuinely believe I don't ever believe that I ever put my stock in religion, but at the time when you're young and you're lost, you want a reasoning or at least some sort of a coping mechanism, and I felt like religion did that for me.
From like 8 to 12?
Yeah, okay. Until I had questions that nobody had answers for. And to tell a child, you know, oh, you have questions? Pray about it. That's like telling, you know, that's like telling a homeless person, oh, you want a home? Go build it. Figure it out yourself. It's like you need guidance, you need direction. And I felt like I didn't have that with religion. So I very quickly decided it wasn't for me. And it did irreparable damage to the relationship I had with my godfather, because he was the pastor of the church that I ended up going to.
And he was the one that wanted you to become pastor?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So we talk kind of here and there, but it's nowhere close like what it was before, you know?
And that's just because of his understanding of your view on God and religion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and like a lot of people think that I'm angry with God because of my life and the things that have happened over the course of my life, but
you don't strike me as that.
That's the thing. It's like, but for a lot of people,
I mean, I've only been talking to you for 2 hours and 15 minutes, but you don't strike me as that.
Yeah, but it's like, for a lot of people whose only point of reference is religion, it's like, well, if you don't love God, clearly you hate God. And it's like, no, I do not, there is no room for this thing in my life. So I just feel as though it's better to remove it than to pretend like I want it there. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Can I dig deeper?
Yeah.
So you would say you don't believe there's a God?
In the sense that we have kind of quantified it down to.
Let me just go straight. Is there a God?
Based on my belief and like my application to the universe, no.
Okay, let me step back. White man in the sky, no.
Fuck no.
Okay. Is there a belief? Do you have a belief that there's like a mystical energy thing, God, in the universe?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right. So then I think atheist is the correct like categorization.
Yeah, I feel like.
But you believe in people, man. So how? So I don't like. You're like so. You have so much. You have so clear a moral compass and a foundation of things that people would often be bucketed in a religious category, or even not. Even if it's not religious, like the bolder version of religious, like, and you're not that either.
No. I feel as though the juxtaposition of religion to morality is something fairly recent.
I'm going to push back on that. What would the argument be for that?
With the establishing of Western culture, there's automatically been a juxtaposition of like, if you're not moral, therefore you do not have a religion. Therefore, without the religion, you would have no morality. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I think that historically, and even now, well, okay, historically, would you think that religion's tied to morality then? You'd say like, does morality, okay, here's a fun question philosophically. Chicken or the egg, religion or morality or moral compass?
Morality.
Okay.
Morality comes first because, again, before...
So the moral compass of humanity's formed, and then the higher power part comes in after?
Yeah. I would say religion has been used to hijack morality.
Interesting. That's tough sell for me reading history. I think it's... at the very minimum coupled, I think I would be on the team of the religion or the higher power than being tied to the society's hierarchy so much so it dictated down to the morality of the individual. But now where we've killed God in the modern lens. Hillary Clinton's killed God, so now that's not a problem anymore.
You wear enough pantsuits, you kill God. That's how it goes.
So since God's dead in the West, now our moral compass is lost. We both agree on that.
Yep.
There are people like you that have a moral compass but aren't tied to a God. How do we, the only way to get more people on that team is to have a unifying framework that can be packaged and sold. Historically, that's only been done through religion. What's a different way that we can approach this to get more people to be moral but not necessarily think they have to be religious?
Class consciousness.
There you go. Okay.
It is divesting from a lot of Western beliefs. It is divesting, much like we talked about earlier, divesting from the individualist approach that everyone has, especially, again, in a capitalist-driven society where everything comes down to me, not we. If everything is based on me, I put myself first. I do not care about my fellow person because everything has to be monetized. If I can't make money off of you, you are of no value to me. That is a lot of what the driving force behind Western culture and capitalism as a whole is. Everything has an imaginary value. Everything has to be monetized. If you are not able to monetize those things, it is of no value. Push it to the side until you find something that you can, or at the very least, something you can exploit enough to make money off of.
Okay. So as someone who would like to be on Team Good Moral Compass, what can I be doing as a rat in the wheel of the capitalist machine to better push towards that? Because initially, like if I take broad strokes on myself here, I shouldn't be publishing to YouTube or Spotify. I shouldn't have a show. I shouldn't do, because these are all like feeding like the problem. And so that's where it's like tough for me, where I don't know. I think we have there's so many people out there that have such a great framework on how to approach life, and their ideas aren't coming to the forefront. I don't know how, maybe it's like a new religion or a new thing, but like it's not about politics, it's about people.
Yeah.
Like there's a people's party thing that needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, the People Party has always existed. It always has been the Communist Party. And the idea of like communism being a poison on the world, if you now look at things that are being declassified by the federal government, it is proven like it has actually been quite the opposite.
They'd probably do worse though with communism. If they were the state had if there were no checks, they have so many checks now and they still abuse.
But it would be trying to switch from a capitalist society to a communist society overnight? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because again, much like you said, there are people who have checks and balances in place and say, fuck it already. Now you're talking about putting them in situations where they are the ones to control who eats and who doesn't.
Right.
Because that's always been their goal, but they want to do it now through a fascist lens, which is, you're not doing what I say, you don't get food.
Right.
But, there is no perfect answer.
Right.
Because this is always a very interesting thing that I think catches people off guard when they talk to me, is like, at the core of it, on a micro level, I believe that people usually are inherently good and that people want to help their fellow man. But when put in places of power and put in control, it is proven scientifically that a person's brain, their chemicals in their brain changes and is like the equivalent of like a TBI or like a brain injury. So you start to think differently and you start to treat people differently, because again, it's, what do you bring to me to make yourself of value? And if there's nothing, I push you to the side. And that's why there are so many yes men and people who are only where they are because they're a Nepo baby or something of that sort.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, I would genuinely say, like, there is no perfect answer, and humanity is a cancer that needs to be eradicated.
Cool.
But again, that's on a macro level.
Right.
But, I don't want to see, children or, babies or, even people that I care about die,
right?
Or be eradicated. But at the end of the day,
but the true environmentalist position is that we should all die.
It's not even environmentalist. It's just like, it's a fucking everything, And like, I want to see us as a species become better, and I want to see us stop being so weird, like towards one another. But genuinely think there's so many people that if 60% of the world became good overnight, like, think of the most just moral compass you can.
If you give it to 60%.
60% of the world.
Right.
All you need is 2% of the other 40% to say, I know how I can harness this to get what I want.
Yeah. Well, that's I guess the crux of my point is, like, the toughest thing about public policy, and the reason I think public policy is so hard, is because, like, safeguarding against abuse is so difficult. And the 2%, whatever percent it is, will always be very eager to exploit the good. But that's not an argument for us to not be on team good.
Well, to that, I agree. And my whole idea is, if the other 38% or even any part of that 60% looks at that 2% and goes, hey, that's fucking wrong, you now have a compass to say, we should get rid of those 2% of people in power. But instead, we now have 98% of people saying, well, someone's going to do it. It might as well be me. I might as well make a little money off the top. And now we're perpetuating the same thing that we want to get rid of. And now we're normalizing it. And like, we see it in cases of abuse of power. Like, in every single situation, it's like, we have the ability to say, hey man, how about we don't continue this shit? What if we just stop it, like, right here? But there are some people who say, well, I went through this situation, you should go through it too.
There's that backward facing lens again.
Yeah, but now it's how we normalize it. I got the shit beat out of me as a kid, so someone should beat the shit out of your kid. Why? Why do you want someone else to go through that? I lived in my car, you should live in your car. It'll teach you character. No, it doesn't. It makes you bitter, and it makes you angry towards the world around you. So why would you not want to make the world better for the next person that comes after you? And that's my approach, and that's my entire moral compass. Believe me, there are times where I'm just like, man, I will slap everything out of your hands right now and just walk away. Just for the fuck of it.
I mean, that's the name of the episode, by the way, The Moral Compass.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, just, I'll slap everything out of your hands and walk away. I was going to that's a long title.
Don't go with that.
Yeah, don't go with that one. Not yet.
It's been an absolute joy talking to you. If I didn't have to fucking get out of here today, I wouldn't be so stressed to have you depart. It's been a hell of a hang. Have you heard of this country called England before?
Yeah.
They do this silly thing over there called knighting. Here at Top Shelf Studios. After a long form conversation, I am doing the hiding.
Oh.
Because all my life people have been like, hey, I got a couple inches. How's weather up there? You must play basketball. Shit like this every single fucking day of my life. And what I've come to realize now that I finally got my prefrontal lobe the last 2 years.
Hell yeah.
I've been looking at the world and I'm like, oh, I'm in the meat suit and we're all in meat suits. And we're all judging each other on the size and color and shape and national origin of our meat suits almost more than anything else. And that seems silly to me. So after a long form conversation, I am pleased to give you your spiritual stature or your heart height. How tall do you stand physically?
As of 2 days ago, I was told I was 6'3".
6'3". Big Joe Buck. I heart height thee 7 foot. That's right, folks. He's got a large heart. He's going to require a procedure. He's too kind of a person in this world. I really do appreciate you sharing some of yourself with me and my audience in my show. It's like, dude, I feel, and I mean this genuinely, I feel a better person for having to get this time with you. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that. You know, it's always the goal is to like show people just because a person may fit a certain archetype in your head doesn't mean that they're necessarily that person. And
that's my whole life, man. I'm with you.
I've been very fortunate to have people come to me and say, hey, man, you know, I had this idea of who I thought you were. And not even talking to you directly, but listening to you talk to other people, I feel as though like I now want to be a better person.
That's great.
And whatever that means to them is what it means to them. I'm just fortunate enough to hopefully be the catalyst of some sort of positive change, whether it's just today or tomorrow, or maybe it's forever, you know. But I heard someone say something very profound about inspiration, which is like inspiration is a lot like drinking water. That one sip that you take doesn't last you forever. You always have to revisit the well. You always have to take another sip. You have to keep yourself hydrated. And it's the same way it is with inspiration. You have to find inspiration in different things that you're doing. And however that applies to you is how it applies to you. You know, you're doing this podcast. You may watch this back and feel even more inspired to do this. Someone watching or listening may feel inspired. You know, someone may watch this and be like, wow, that guy's a fucking dumbass. But so be it. You feel inspired to prove me wrong. So whatever that means to you is what it means to you. And I just hope like people find inspiration to hopefully do good. Or to at the very least better themselves so that they do not become the person that they're frustrated with.
Thank you. Where can people follow you, find you, see you do comedy? You got a big thing coming up. You're wearing a BK Sherrod hat. I meant to show this out.
Shout out BK, the homie. Tonight, I am doing a private event.
This is going to be way in the past for plugs.
Okay.
Plug your Instagram. Plug where people can plug the fest. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm a little backlog. It's my fault.
No, it's all good. October 8th through the 10th, Trailhead Comedy Fest. Instagram is Trailhead Comedy Fest. Facebook for anyone who's 40 and up. Trailhead Comedy Festival. Website.
Go. Support them. This is such a big thing for Summit County.
Website is trailheadcomedyfest.com. I'm not sure how long this will take to come out, but we will be dropping, and by we, I mean me, I will be sending out to the email list or newsletter list discounts for lodging and for pre-sale tickets. We're also taking sponsors. We're taking volunteers. I am making merch specifically for volunteers. I'm lining up venues. Everything is coming together. I'm so unbelievably excited about this. You know, I got to talk about this at last night's show. Doesn't matter how far in the future we talk about this, but Trailhead Comedy Festival is not some corporate backed shell. We're not owned by Live Nation, Eventbrite, Axis, any of those other companies. We are literally just three dudes who love comedy, who want to showcase the community that's given us so much. And that's always the goal with everything that we do. Outside of that, my personal Instagram is bad_newsbuck. You'll find everything from my political rants, me powerlifting to Ella Langley, and God, what's the other beautiful gal? Olivia Dean. Yes. You'll find me powerlifting to Ella Langley and Olivia Dean, on occasion, Chaperone, but it turns out she's a class traitor, so I'm not fucking with that right now until I hear otherwise. I talk politics. I have my own podcast. It's called the Homie Love Hour. We'll be dropping more episodes soon. I promise. I'm sorry to everyone.
By the time this comes out, there's probably new episodes there. There's some motivation for you.
Hopefully. But yeah, I'm always around. I'm always doing something. Also,
find him.
Yes. Also, I sit on the board of directors for a child advocacy center. If you ever want to learn more about what we do, or if you want to donate, Treetop Child Advocacy Center, we service all of District 5. We help children and families get through traumatic experiences. We do it all pro bono. So without federal funding and local donations, we cannot stay open and continue to service the people who do not deserve to go through the situations that they do.
And if you know anything about me and my connections that I don't talk about on this show, that's very important to me. Go help that cause.
Yeah, we help everyone, man. The whole name of the game is helping,
If you want to help us on the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube. I'm trying to get a website going. Hopefully this will be motivation for myself to get that up, intolerable.com.
I can help you build it.
Well, if I don't want to, you got enough fucking irons in the fire. You don't need one more.
Bro, it'll take me like a day. Don't worry about it. I got you.
All right. Well, we can talk about it. But you've been an absolute joy. Please check out the Patreon with him if you want to learn more about his life.
Yeah, you can watch me inhale chicken wings while talking about traumatic life experiences. It's a fun time.
It's worth it. Trust me. Cheap rack of the beer over the course of the year. Just get over there. Patreon.com/intolerable.
Yeah.
And as always, fuck off and be well.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.